All right, let me show you something wild. This project came in through a referral and the total build was worth $10,000. And honestly, once you see what this app does, you'll realize why clients pay real money for tools like this. We built a complete AI-powered design tool that lets users take any unfinished or under construction space, upload a photo, choose whether it's interior or outdoor, pick from a range of design themes, and instantly generate a fully finished, professionally styled version of that space. Our client actually runs a construction company, so this tool was built to make his workflow faster, clearer, and way easier when showing clients what their spaces will eventually look like. Architects love this. Interior designers love this. Real estate developers really love this, because instead of waiting weeks for renders, they can get instant visualizations in seconds. And here's the thing. You can literally take this exact idea, customize it, and start selling it to architects, interior designers, landscapers, property developers, anyone who needs fast visualizations. This is one of those apps where businesses instantly understand the value and they're willing to pay real money for it. All the resources, templates, and assets are linked in the description. You can download everything and follow along. And if you love videos on no-code tools, AI automations, and high-value apps you can actually sell, and you want to learn how to build custom apps like this from scratch, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. All right, let's get into it.
A quick overview about our application and what we going to build. The front end was built on Llama, which is a no-code platform. You do not need to have any kind of coding knowledge to build this kind of application. I will share with you the prompt as well down below in the description. Give you a quick overview about how this application works. First of all, you need to upload the image that you need to construct. This is an image where there's nothing inside and you need to decorate it with something else. Now you need to select the interior or the outdoor design. Since this is an interior design, or if you're selecting interior, select what kind of a design theme you want from here, and then you are able to generate the computer design. Now this is the backend of application. The backend is what allows the front end to work as it is intended to. As you can see, there are two tables that I have created inside the backend called the design themes and the generation jobs. The design themes table actually stores the categories and all the theme names. And the generation jobs creates a row whenever the generate button is clicked inside the application, and it will store the original image URL, the edit type, which is the interior or the outdoor category. It will keep the theme name that you selected, and whatever the output image URL that is being sent through N8N into here. We will discuss that towards the end of the video when we are going through the workflow as well. And then this status is to notify whether the request is on pending or completed mode. If it is completed mode, it will show it inside in the front end, and if it is still pending, it will show a loading icon. Now I will go over the workflow that is inside this application. It gets the data from Supabase, generates the image according to the data we have provided, and send that edited image back to an agent. Webhook trigger will be triggered whenever a new row is created inside generation jobs, and afterwards, this webhook trigger will get the image data and the theme and all the category data into this HTTP request node. What this HTTP request node will do is convert the image into binary and send that image with the data to a prompt inside Gemini, and that edited image will be sent to Supabase. And we will see how this workflow does and connect all these nodes properly and provide authentication properly at the end of the video. First of all, I will be going through the creation of the backend. This is because you would now have the backbone and you just need to connect the part into the relevant part. First of all, you need to click on this new project button and then give your project a name and a password, and then click on create new project. After creating your project, the first thing you will need to do is go into your tables section and create your tables first. This is because all your data will be stored inside this table, whatever image you input, the output image, the theme you will be selecting, all those things need a place to be stored, so they will be stored in these tables. For this purpose, we'll be creating two tables. Let's go ahead and create the tables. I've gone ahead and created the two tables. The first table consists of the IT column, the category column, and the theme name column. The category column will hold in whether you are choosing an interior or outdoor design. And then for each of these interior and outdoor categories, we giving 7 themes for each. So you will have more options. If you want to add more options into this, all you have to do is go into this insert section, insert row, and you give your new category and give your new. Next table I created was the generation jobs table. When you click on generate button, the image URL will be sent into here. including the edit tab, which is the category of the image you are selecting, and also the theme name will be also stored here. And this output image URL that will be sent through N8N into here. I will show you where it will be stored. While generating this image, the status will be on pending. Once the image URL is inside Supabase, the status will be changed into completed, and it will show the image URL after fetching it from here in the front end. Last time I told you that in the table editor, we will be storing our original image URL, which is the construction image, and output image URL, right? There should be a place that it should be stored first, and then we will be copy that URL from there. The place where it will be stored is the storage section in Supabase. So Supabase allows you to store images, videos, and documents inside the storage section. In order to store these files, you need to first of all create a new bucket from here, and a bucket name. Creating another bucket to store the edited image which is coming from N8N. We need to create that image as well. Make sure to enable this public bucket because N8N needs to access this bucket from outside. And now since the storage session is done, now we need a method to tell N8N that some row inside this table has been created, generation jobs. There are two ways to do this. One way is to make SQL trigger, or there is this functionality called a webhook inside Supabase. In order to go to the webhook section, you need to go to this database section. And then when you scroll down, you find these webhooks. What this does is it just notifies whatever. It notifies N8N whenever a new row is being created. First of all, you need to click on this enable webhooks button and then go into this webhooks tab and then create a new hook. And now you need to give name to this database hook, and you need to select the table in which this webhook is related to. In my case, it is related to this generation jobs. So whenever insert operation is done, this trigger should happen. Pair name the webhook as well here. And there's one more thing you need to add is the URL of your webhook, and it will be a post method because you will be sending a post request to N8N to trigger the workflow in there. Now let's go on to the N8N section and see how to create the workflow. And I will show you what to paste inside this URL section. Now inside N8N, something to notice that you can use other AI automation platforms to do the same thing as. Since N8N is more beginner friendly, we will be going through with N8N today. So for you need the way to trigger your workflow and to get the data from Supabase into N8N. To do that, you first need a webhook trigger. So type in webhook trigger from here. And when you add this, remember something about the URL, right? That is this URL. Make sure to have the HTTP method as post because Supabase will be sending you post requests into this webhook to trigger the workflows. First of all, make sure to copy this URL and paste your URL in here like so. And then you can go on to create the webhook. There are no further changes that needs to be made in here. Now your webhook is created. Whenever a new row is being created inside this generation jobs, basically, whenever a user clicks on generate button, all the data will be sent into N8N while triggering the workflow. Now we have a clear link between our backend and our N8N. And now let's continue on with the workflow. Now, as you can see, I have gone ahead and triggered my Supabase trigger and listen for an event using the webhook. And now the data are here. What we need is this interior type, this theme name, and this original image URL. This is in URL format. And now we need to convert this into a binary format. To do that, we need the HTTP request node. So I will type in HTTP request and connect it. URL we need to add here is this original image URL. You just need to drag and drop it here like so. And now the image is added into here. It should convert it to a binary format. And all you need to do is just go back to canvas, give this a name. This is important because otherwise you don't know what you're doing inside your workflow. I have renamed my node into convert into binary. Now we'll be getting into the most interesting part of our workflow, which is integrating Gemini into this. Since the output is now configured to be a binary, we will be sending that binary output into a Gemini node. All you have to do is type in Gemini here, click on this Google Gemini button, and click on edit an image. By clicking on edit an image, we get back to you after creating and connecting my credentials here. So I have gone ahead and connected my credentials into here. Now I will have to give the prompt which will actually edit this image properly. But first of all, I just want to give what the input is like coming into this node. You can see this small square bracket with the data on it. This is the binary object that is coming into our node. This consists of our image. If you click on this view button, you can see that the image is here, right here. And now you need to give them for anything to map. In the resources down below, there's a section called Google Gemini prompt. Click on expression and then paste it here like so. And now there will be some few changes you need to make. Click on this button to make this a bit of a large window. And now you need to replace the following things. Watch carefully and follow it on. Otherwise, this won't work properly. Go into this edit type and drag and drop it here. Easy as that. And then you need to replace this theme name with the relevant theme name you have given in your front-end application, like so. Just dragging and dropping, you do not have to type or anything, copy paste the prompt and just make these changes and you're all good. And the last change is this one. So everything is now properly changed. All you have to do is just run this and it will give you the proper output. Now that we have set up Gemini node, we need to send this output image. To do that, first of all, go into your project settings, which is down below, and click on Data API. And you need to, first of all, you need to copy this project file over here and paste it somewhere. And copy the Supabase upload image URL from resources down below, which looks something like this, and paste it in this URL tab in HTTP request. So this is what the URL should look like. It is called Supabase upload image URL. So just go ahead and copy and paste it here. And then what you have to do is you need to replace this with whatever your project is. So I will just paste mine here, and you need to give your bucket name over here. The bucket name I gave was output image. I will just give it like so. You don't need this file path and names. You will just post in this image into this bucket. Oh, now you are done with this node. All you have to do is just rename this, because there are two HTTP nodes, so you do not need to get yourself confused when you're looking at this workflow afterwards. In a later date, I will now execute this workflow and meet you back in Supabase. Now I'm back at the storage session. Let's see whether the output image has properly added into my output image bucket. As you can see, there's an unnamed 2.jpg file inside my bucket. Let's open it, you can see. And sure enough, the image is here. Now we will talk about how to implement the front end of this application. Now we will be making our front end of our application. The full prompt I'm using here is available in our resources documentation under front ends. Feel free to copy and paste it here. And I will go through it and explain to you guys what this prompt does and how you can also make similar prompts like this in the future. Now I just copy and paste the prompt from the resources documentation. First of all, I have clearly mentioned that I am building only the front end, and I already have existing Supabase backend. Lovable also has their built-in backend called Lovable Cloud. If you do not specify this, they will basically build it on their own and it will charge you a lot of credit. And I have also specifically told them not to use any backend logic. Moving on, I am also specifically telling them that I have these two tables and what their columns are. This is because sometimes AI will get confused when you try to let it guess on their own. You need to be really specific about what are things that are available and what should be the stuff happening with that available item. I have specified the column names for the second one as well. And I have also specified about the Supabase buffers that are available. And now I'm going into the front-end behavior requirement. When I was starting this video, I mentioned that whenever you click on the generate button, the relevant data should be gone into those relevant tables. So that is what I am specifying here. How the drop-downs should be available inside of this application, what are the options should be, where should you get the options from. All this information has been included. And I'm also mentioning where the output image URL is coming from, so that the front end can have some sort of a loading animation going on until it is generating the image. And after it's generating we give you the specific output into the front end. That is pretty much it. I have gone into the smallest details about how this application works. When you guys are building a new application as well using Laravel, I highly recommend you to follow the steps that I have followed in this prompting as well, because that way you can get what you want without wasting a lot of credits. So now I will just run this prompt and see you on the other side. So this is the fully completed application with backend properly integrated into our application. So as you can see, it is a bit different to our client's project. That is because we have tweaked it a bit according to our client's needs. We had to update a few visuals. Let's go ahead and see whether this application works properly or not. I will first of all update the construction image, and then I will select the type, which is an interior. And next I will go ahead and select the theme. And now all we had to do is click on generate button. And now we need to wait until the n8n workflow runs and generates our image and send it back to Supabase. And now already, as you can see, it has been fully generated properly. Let's go ahead and try another image. The exterior will be choosing is this one right here. As you can see, this is an unfinished house. Let's select the edit type. Since this is an outdoor, I will select outdoor. As for the theme, I will go with rustic stone house exterior. And now let's generate completed image. Like before, you wouldn't have to wait for a while. And now you can see a cool looking house has been generated. That is the end of our video. As I said previously, all the resources that was used when building this application is available down below in our resources documentation. You can copy all the prompts and all the code snippets we have used inside of this application. And you can also go ahead and sell this to architects, designers, and various other type of people who might need application like this. With that being said, I will see you in the next one.